Hey, hey, hey. This is Jay Gilly Tarot. If you'd like to support me and my channel, please book a reading with me at jgilly.com. That's JGILLY.com. All right, so today is going to be possibly the most difficult video. I was a little reluctant. But my guides, they said today was the day. I sat down to meditate and I was like, what are we going to talk about today for my video? Today is the day. What's the day? And I heard, does the messenger matter if the calculation is correct? Is a calculation truly correct if it was born of a formula imposed by limits? And then I knew. The deepest blow of the human soul is to be silenced. And my story, my voice has been silenced for the last year. And I woke up in a terrible nightmare, a bad Lifetime movie, almost exactly a year ago. And first off, I want to say this is alleged, all alleged. This is from my perspective, in my opinion. And I don't have any ill will to those that have betrayed me, lied to me, slandered me and my name and what I do. They know not what they do. And I've always known that, even from way back when, 20 years ago, when I was first alienated by my family and, rebuilt and renewed and found myself. And then when I moved to Texas, I was, heavily finding my way back to the dance community. They had great dance classes, and yeah, it was my true first love ever, dance, my true first meditation as a child. I'm a lifelong dancer. And sorry, there's a lady that's like talking to her cat in the background. Message. So yeah, where was I? So when I moved to Dallas and began my psychic medium business and was, recreational dancing on the side for a great workout, naturally, I made friends and, in particular, started to date someone and lived with someone for almost 5 years. And about a year ago, I found myself like I woke up in a Lifetime movie that was poorly written and scripted. And the whole thing was like a fraudulent illusion painted. There's been a lot of corruption. There's been a lot of lies, using my name. There's probably so much more I don't know about. I had to hire a private investigator to figure out what actually was true about a wreck that happened in my car, and supposedly the car was totaled, yet no one can locate the car, even though There was a claim paid by the insurance policy. I don't know who was injured in the wreck because I was not driving. It was my boyfriend at the time, the person I was dating at the time. And it was a hit and run. He left the scene, and his friend supposedly brought him to a gym uptown about a mile and a half, I would say, from our shared home. And I was, in hindsight, this my bad. My biggest mistake was um, wanting him to handle it. I was so busy with my own business and thinking that he was a supportive boyfriend, um, which I later found out was just a character he was playing um, in my life, I guess, to use me. Um, yeah, I forgot where it was. So he dropped him off at the gym and limped in the door later that evening and left the car at the scene. There's just a lot of missing pieces and a lot of framing, it looks like, in my opinion, a lot of slander with the work that I do. And not only that, um, all of my accounts were hacked. There's been a lot of police corruption. I tried to file police reports. My mail was rerouted. It was a whole thing. I was gang stalked. When I came back to my mother's home to find safety because I was being followed, someone broke into the back gate, probably just to scare me. There was a lot of things, a lot of weird things, a lot of weird spiritual things as well with witchcraft that I have never ever been privy to before or experienced because I'm a firm believer in not dabbling in witchcraft. Never wanted to do it. I was ethically trained by my psychic medium teacher, Sandy Anastasi, and everything you put out in the universe will come back. And so I'm a firm believer in the power of the soul's journey and the portal of the heart and the ability to see, feel, and know your soul's calling and intuition. And, having a year to heal and move on and unpack it mentally from a higher perspective. I realize now God placed me in this position because he knew I was strong enough to handle it. He knew I would be able to pick out all the corrupt patterns all and like zoom out and logically put together the formula, calculate it to find an answer in truth. And this is why I'm here today. I'm not going to silence my truth anymore. Yeah, that's where I'm being called, asked to stand up to the plate. And so again, I don't have any ill will. But thought is freed when the mind stops oscillating between past and future and sits in the presence of now. This is when the true connection of the soul is ignited. Language shifts perspective when we speak what is meant exactly instead of a fashionable phrase in code. Your body's anatomy is the map to the cosmos. You're the bridge to the heavens, the celestial lands. And this is why art is always controlled. So I say that because what I made out from the whole experience, um, and the trauma of like my own life being threatened. My mail key was missing. The gun case key from my home was missing. I was followed by two marked Homeland Security cars the whole way back to my hometown in another state. And it was pretty traumatizing and stressful, I will say. But I remained calm. Um, I knew my angels had me. I knew I was protected. Um, but there's been a lot of fraud in my name, a lot. And again, they know not what they do. I think, yeah, I think they underestimated my strength. They underestimated my ability to pick up on details and how things were said or unsaid. And the big takeaway that I got from this whole experience was that the imposed matrix loses its brilliance when we step into our own understanding of what's around us and surrounding us and interacting with us. This brings us to our true calling and importance in life, and ultimately our destiny. And so, however hard this was for me to go through alone, too, I might add, was little old me against all these people. And getting to the bottom of all these weird things, and I realized people were listening to me, they were listening in on my phones, they'd hacked me, they were all these bigger institutions, all my accounts, every time I'd open up a new debit card. Weird lows, drafts in New York, Google Pets donations, shards of a mirror that had broken that I swept out of my place and put it in the dumpster when I went back to move all my stuff 2 weeks later because I wasn't staying there because I felt unsafe. Shards of the mirror were left in my mailbox, which I have to assume mirror magic. They were probably mad that the mirror broke. I don't know. Like I don't know about mirror casting, so yeah, I'm sure there's something about it on TikTok, but I don't even want to give it energy to look up and research. I mean, I really, that's probably how protected I was that my guides made that mirror fall and shatter, you know? So, yeah, this brought me to my destiny, I feel. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? And it was tough. It was pretty tough, you know, leaving a place you had built your business and community and relationship in, and overnight, in an instant, all gone. Um, and then suddenly fearing for your life. It completely ripped off any veil left lingering because I'm very spiritual. I'm a medium. I talk to the spirit realm. But anything that I had not cleared and healed up in my soul was like right in my face. The veil was ripped off, and the truth of my relationship, the illusion of that, the fraud behind it, and um, the insidious network behind him that he was part of. And there's so much more to go into, but I will at a later date. in an interview, hopefully. So, um, yeah, I'll leave it there. We might do a part two. But I wanted to share my story because I think the strongest thing I struggled with afterwards was the flooding of memory and all the little things I maybe had overlooked. It had been carefully filed in a cabinet of my subconscious. And going back and looking at all the conversations from a different lens and realizing that they had such a different meaning, right? Because I'm a logical bird. I unpack things logically before emotionally acting on them. And that's just what my spiritual path and tools have taught me from an early age because I had to deal with quite a quite a lot of crises in my day, I would say, growing up. And so, yeah. Um, I'm a huge conspiracy theorist. I love a good conspiracy theory, as you all know if you've been watching my channel. But it was like suddenly I understood I had been studying for what was sitting on my couch for almost 5 years. And it's a big pill to swallow too, because you're like, how could I have been so stupid? And as I was sitting there and like thinking about how I would word this and post this and talk about this experience, I suddenly felt Charlie Kirk. And then I knew the reason he had come to me in the spirit realm, like attracts like. I've talked about this before. And it was our common feeling of how could I have been so duped? Confirmation. Y'all, this lady, the way she talks to her cats, our neighbor, it's so funny. So apologies for the background noise. She's talking to a cat. uh, I love the improv, huh? So yeah, I was a failed sacrifice, I believe. That's my opinion. And yeah, I don't even know what happens because I'm alive and well. I don't know what happens when someone tries to make a deal with the devil to become famous and the person the object of their prey to sacrifice got out and escaped, outsmarted them. I don't know. I don't know how that goes. Leave a comment down below if you do know. Um, but I'm so grateful for my life now and my purpose and my destiny and my calling. And it makes me super intentional about my steps forward in my own sovereignty and just how important our free will is. So, as you know, if you've listened to any of my readings, you'll know I'm a big advocate of sovereignty and not consenting. And um, I kind of got in a little bit of a pickle. I realized also exactly a year ago, I had also been bamboozled into signing onto a 501c nonprofit. And yeah, it was basically, those are not good contracts in the corporate sphere of things, in particular with the cabal. So it's as B. Dell says, I love his channel. As B. Dell says, it's a contract with the devil. So I got out of that really quickly once I realized they had put me on as treasurer, that they could do whatever they wanted under the guise of my name. And yeah, I was feeling really taken advantage of and bamboozled, and I felt stupid. I should have been smarter. I should have slowed down, not, gotten so busy that, you know, I wasn't paying attention to that. But where there's a will, there's a way. And God always gives us the grace and understanding once we acknowledge it, accept it, and course correct. But the hardest thing I had to struggle with was how I could have been so stupid in the relationship, how I could have let that toxic, parasitic relationship that was literally siphoning me continue to go on. And I felt like Charlie Kirk had the exact same feeling when he showed up to me. And so that kind of tells me everything I need to know. I think that this probably will be the final channeling of Charlie Kirk, or visit. It feels like I'm just going to channel. It feels like everything pretty much has been exposed. I mean, it'll continue to unravel, but I mean, we have enough nails in the coffin to know this was a huge plan. And that Erica is not so innocent in this, allegedly, just in my opinion. And as a medium, when we speak to spirit and we create a bridge to the spirit realm, it's called a medium for a reason, because there's an exchange that happens. There's a healing for the person that's still living in that communication, but also a healing for the spirit so they can go on, so they can ascend. Spirit still learns and ascends to higher dimensions and frequencies on the other side as well. They continue to learn. And so, I think there has been a lot of healing in his communication with me over the last couple of weeks. Maybe it's been like a month, but I feel there's been a lot of healing with Candace Owens and Baron Coleman and all those trusty, YouTubers that are reporting all the facts and leaking the real evidence. I think that that's enough justice in itself. The truth is justice. And speaking your voice is the biggest gift we could ever give ourselves. I think that's why language has been formulated to gematria. I think that's why it was changed from ancient light language. Because in the past, light language was exactly a bridge to the spirit realm. There was an air of mystery interlaced and open for interpretation. It was an activation of the DNA, a remembering of the soul, where memories were the currency of love and activation. And now we are spell casting, sometimes against ourselves, because the pineal gland is attacked with all these frequencies from the invisible dome, the technical net cast all over our world, and the frequencies that are being emitted from the ice walls, so that we don't explore and we turn back, we get distracted, we focus on money and we focus on short term comforts to ease our stress and anxiety from all the frequencies that we're bombarded with day in and day out. Charlie Kirk just said, nailed it. So I pulled 3 cards and I wanted to give him a parting message, give him the floor, and I got strength, 2 of materials, and awakening. I mean, mic drop. Immediately, what I get from this is there's no second guessing, there's no juggling the stories. Truth is truth is truth. It vibrates differently, it hits differently, it lands differently, it's felt differently. And over the next couple of years, I feel we will all have to be strong in our sovereignty and our soul's purpose, in our self sufficiency, pulling away from the system, the formula, and the matrix. And focusing on what resonates as truth to us and our unique path. That's not going to look the same to everybody else. Everybody's at a different stage of awakening. Everybody's at a different stage of understanding, but it's through human connection and sharing of experience through the lens of truth that we will activate one another. And this is how we ascend. This is how we overcome the elites in power that are they're going to put up a good fight. They are going to put up a good fight to cover up everything. They've already have with Erica. They're trying to put her, on the ballot already. But it's all a stage. The world's a stage. And so his last message to us is be the stage, be the actor, the main character, the writer, the director, the producer. Be it all. Don't let anybody write your story. I'll leave it there. Love and light.